right, it is the Sports Big Orange podcast, final segment of the week. I'm Charlie Burris. That is Zach Ragan. Thanks for joining us again. And Zach, this is just going to be an entire segment. It feels fitting to end the week this way. An entire segment of us talking about why My Tennessee Mountain Home should be the song that Tennessee plays after the third quarter to honor Dolly. And that's all it's going to be to end the week here. No, I do believe that, but that's not what our segment's going to be about. We got to talk about just the absolutely insane situation with NFL players coming back to play at the college level and everything that's unfolded. So yesterday, we recorded the segment about the defense. About 5,000 of you have viewed it so far. We appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out with us. Subscribe, A to Z Sports Tennessee Volunteers YouTube channel. When we recorded that, we recorded yesterday and had an entire segment about how Sankey is spineless. He's done nothing. He stinks. And then we also ripped Lane Kiffin for about 15 minutes. We're still going to do that one. But after that, it came out that the SEC had in fact met yesterday and had set up all of these, this particular edict that you cannot bring NFL players back. And if you do, here are your punishments. And that included a 50% of the season suspension for your coach. I had it.
Some
I
of the operating budget gets taken away.
Up to 50% of your operating budget, I think
which
it was.
Is like a death blow.
Yes. I mean, that would be crazy. Some of these teams, what's that, like $150 million or something? Like, that would be a massive penalty to take. And it was actually crazy because in that conversation yesterday, the main thing that we said, we said, oh, well, Sankey's, this statement from Sankey yesterday sucked. It does absolutely nothing. But what they need to do is hit the coaches and hit the administration. Well, that's exactly what they did, thankfully. Because you're not going to compel them if you go, oh, we're just going to stop these players. We're going to go after these players. There's no point in going after the players because, frankly, the players did nothing wrong. Of course, they want to come back and make $1 million. Who would not want to do that? It makes complete sense. Oh, I flamed out at the NFL level, or it just doesn't look like it's going to work out for me. I'll go back and make $1 million. All of us, everybody listening, we would all do that, or at least want to do that, of course. But we also said yesterday, you have to draw the line somewhere, and this has to be it. This has to be a red line, and the way to do it is to hit the coaches instead of the players, because I'm sure they're going to get sued, but you can't get sued if the schools don't try to bring guys back from the NFL. That's the thing. If the opportunity is not there for those guys to come back, then you can't sue over it because the opportunity is not there. What are you suing for? And I think that's what they're trying to do, is to hit that and kind of say, if you even try to do this, we're going to ruin you. It's interesting. It's a very fascinating situation. What did you think when you saw this, Zach?
I love it because I think it's the right move, because you just, like you said, you don't want to cross this line and allow NFL players to come back to college after they've played in preseason games or even after they've been in training camp. It's just, it would cross a line that would open the door to so many more situations like that down the road. I know that Lane Kiffin, which we'll get to in a moment, has said that, it's just this one-time situation. But I think we know it would not be a one-time situation, that this would just open the door to more of these situations down the road where somebody leaves school and they had a year of eligibility left and they don't cut it in the NFL like they thought they were going to, and somebody wants them back. And we've seen that a judge, a home court judge, can pretty much do whatever they want to do to help their alma mater or whatever school they're a fan of. And except for, unless they're in Tennessee, they seem to stick to the law. But nonetheless, I mean, it can happen, right? Like, there's no scenario now that's like off the table. Stuff that we thought could never happen before can now happen. And if you allow these players to come back and play, I don't think it would be a good thing for college football as a whole. And in this situation, particularly, it is such a small number of players that were impacted by this ruling. Like the NCAA created all of this, right? I think everybody understands that. If they don't, they passed the 5-for-5 rule in June. They could have done it last December. I mean, it's been on the table for a while. They could have done it in December and avoided all this, right? All those players would have been able to come back if they wanted to, or they could have just waited till this December and not done it in the middle of the summer when training camps are going on. Like they had to know that it was going to open the door to all of this because that's just the state of the sport. So the NCAA has like created this mess as they often do, but it is not that many players. You're talking about a handful of players that were class of 2022 high school graduates that would have had one more year under the 5-for-5 rule, who went to a training camp, who were undrafted free agents, aren't going to make a roster, and probably aren't going to stick on a practice squad. So that's a very small number of players, and they're good players. They made an impact when they were in college. Daquan Wright, the Browns tight end that's at the center of this, it was at Ole Miss. I mean, he had a good year last year for a tight end, like 600 and some receiving yards. I imagine he would have another good year if he came back to college. But do you want to blow up the whole sport and open this can of worms over, 10 or so players? I don't think it's a good move, and I think some of the excuse making from Mr. Kiffin is just asinine and just more self-serving BS that he's been doing since Al Davis called him out back in 2008.
It's so insane. I mean, we're gonna nobody who's listening to this heard our segment. Only me and Zach heard it, but we're probably going to repeat a lot of stuff here. But Kiffin, after all the hoopla, making a documentary about how he's changed his ways. I'm doing hot yoga now, and I'm a new man, and I've got a dog that ended up being fake. Or he wasn't fake, but it wasn't actually Kiffin's dog.
Yeah, he wasn't really taking care of it.
Yeah, whatever that whole situation was. I mean, we should have known with Juice Kiffin. That should have been the real sign that he's changed absolutely nothing. But not only has he not changed anything, he's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is they might as well be Al Qaeda at this point. It's absolutely crazy. Just taking this stance of I'm gonna ruin college football. Come and stop me. What? Why would you do that? Why is that your plan? You clown. And he already, obviously, with everything that happened with Ole Miss, he already had made a complete fool of himself. And then you pair him with Will Wade at LSU, who did the same exact thing to NC State. And I mean, could it be any more of a just ridiculous clown show at LSU right now? And I don't know. I would say that I can't believe it, but I totally can.
Yeah.
What can you even say at this point?
He is the most self-centered, coaching. You have to be selfless. Like there's a lot of ego in coaching, obviously, but you have to be selfless too, because ultimately you have to lead a roster of 100 players to get on the same page, to work together. Like those are the only teams that win championships. Just because you have a really talented team doesn't guarantee you anything. There's a lot of really talented teams. You got to get all those guys on the same page. But Kiffin's never going to care about anybody more than he cares about Lane Kiffin. We saw it when he left Tennessee, the way that he did for his dream job, as if that opportunity was never going to arise again. He was 33 years old or something. He had his whole career ahead of him. How many times has the USC job been open since then? There were going to be opportunities. I don't even buy the dream job thing from him anymore. Like he deserted that roster at a terrible time. And then he flamed out at USC. He left Alabama even on a bad note going into the championship game because he couldn't focus on the job. And then the Ole Miss one is by far the worst one to me. It's even worse than Tennessee because he gaslit that whole city into believing that he cared about them, that he really loved being in Oxford. And he tried to get out a few years ago with the Auburn deal when it came up, and Hugh Freeze got that job, and he looked like a fool entertaining the interview. And, they went 8-5 that year. They stumbled at the end because his focus wasn't on his own team. And I think at that time he had a little bit of self-awareness and was like, okay, it's not the right time. I'm going to look like an idiot if I do this. And then Ole Miss, in the middle of a college football playoff run, this team that you stood up there in July and August before you started fall camp, and you told them the goal and how you're all in this together, and we're gonna make a run at a championship. We have a championship team, and all the little cliches that you tell to a team. He stood up there and said all of that, and then he was the one that quit on that team. And not only did he quit, he publicly ran around with Florida, with LSU. He was even talking to Florida State a little bit, flying in jets. Like, he wasn't trying to hide it. Everyone knew what he was doing. Everyone knew. And then he's acting all stressed out. I mean, he was about to fight reporters after the Egg Bowl. This guy was about to lose it because of a situation he put himself in. And then he made himself out to be the victim, the college football calendar, and that, which is a problem. But again, stick with your team. Stick with your team. Like, if the LSU job comes open, it's a good time to go for that job, then I get it. Like, if Ole Miss isn't playing, but you got to finish what you started with your team. And he quit on every single one of those players. Like, that tells you all you need to know about him as a person, as a coach, as a human, that he's always going to look out for himself before anyone else. So when he got up there this week on the McAfee show and said, it's not fair for these players that in this 2022 class that this ruling came down when it did, and they don't get to come back because of the timing of it. Like, that, you don't care about that. You don't care about those players at all. You care about making your roster better because you know the way you left Ole Miss that it's playoff or bust for you at LSU in year one. You have a $5 million quarterback in Sam Levitt that you flew to Knoxville to kidnap, basically, and bring back, and all these other players that you went after that you're paying. I mean, this is a $40 million plus roster. If you're not a playoff team, the noise after year one is going to be loud in Baton Rouge. So you're trying to get all the talent you can for you. Like, this has nothing to do with caring about those kids, those 23-year-old kids, by the way. I mean, these are adults. They're not fresh out of high school kids, as he likes to kind of make it out to be. It's just sickening to me who Kiffin is. And I'm like you, they did that documentary with ESPN, and like, he had rehabbed his image, and which was just a couple of months before the Ole Miss debacle. And there's part of me, it's like, okay, like, he's figured it out. Like, I'm not rooting against you, Lane. I mean, I was when you were at USC because of the way you left Tennessee. I think most Tennessee fans were pretty celebratory when he got fired there and was like, hey, you had it coming. After all these years, it was like, all right, you found your way, right? Like, you're in a good spot now, and you just threw it all away to go chase the next best thing. And LSU fans are delusional if they think he's not going to do it again. I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe it'll be the Cleveland Browns that go after him when they need a coach, because I don't think a team with good ownership is going to hire him in the NFL. I think a team that has bad owners, like the Jets, the Browns, one of those types of teams, the Bengals, like, they may go hire him. And when he gets that opportunity, because of all this BS in college now, I think he'll leave LSU. I don't know how it'll happen, but he will leave them, and it will be a freaking disaster, just like it always is when he leaves.
Alabama fires Kalen DeBoer, and he goes to Alabama.
I don't think Alabama would do it, honestly. Not at this point.
Probably not, because anybody at this point. You ever watch the show Arrested Development?
Yeah.
What's the scene with Tobias, and he's like, it's never worked for anyone ever, but maybe it will work for us. Like, that is anybody who hires Kiffin at this point.
Yeah.
You are completely delusional. Because
Al Davis really nailed it in 08, that stupid letter thing that he did that we all thought he was foolish.
Yeah, and I mean, you would think that somebody would grow up at a certain point, but the guy's gotten worse with age. It's so crazy. Nobody has been more vindicated in sports media, maybe ever, than that guy that Kiffin yelled at, who on a radio show or whatever, he said of Kiffin, you can't turn a woman of the night into a housewife. That guy couldn't have been more right if he tried. like this dude is a tiger with stripes that will never ever 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 change. I'm convinced. Um, and it's just, of course, he's the guy at the center of this. I mean,
And why? Why over like a handful of players? Like 2 weeks ago, you thought this you had a playoff roster, right? If you're Lane, like this is a playoff team 2 weeks ago. Like, what message are you sending
50
to your
million
team?
bucks or whatever.
What message
Yeah.
are you sending to your entire team a week and a half before they open the season against Clemson, which would be so hilarious now if Clemson somehow beats them. Like, please God,
Oh God.
let it happen. I mean, but what message are you sending to them that you're going to war over this silly thing now where you're getting lawsuits involved? They were encouraging these players to sue. I mean, that Lane and his staff and the people at LSU, you're creating this entire mess when your team should be 100% focused on Clemson. Like, that should be the only focus right now. Can you imagine if Josh Heupel was wrapped up in something like this and was going to war to add a player that do they even add a win to your team? I don't. It is. I don't get it. Like, this is him. It's like he's trying to prove a point for his own ego or something. Like, I just let it go. Like, it's like he just wants to win this battle to stick it to whoever.
I mean, these rules from the SEC could just be called the Kiffin rules.
Yeah.
Like that, it is made specifically to dare him to do this. Go ahead, and we'll suspend you for half the season, but you can do this. I mean, they are basically saying, I mean, you can do it, sure, but we're going to suspend you for half the season and take half your operating budget. That's all. Is just take half of your
Yeah.
operating budget. And
It's
the other
silly.
one, I did look it up. The other one was that you lose voting privileges for the SEC voting privileges on business matters are fully revoked.
That's the funny part of this too. Is in the initial vote Tuesday, August 25th, which wasn't the official vote, I guess. All 16 SEC schools, which obviously includes LSU, voted in favor of the punishment that you just mentioned. And today, the official vote, LSU abstained from it. So they didn't even vote against it. They were just like, we're not voting. But I think even those within LSU, like, they got to be in a tough spot, right? This is your guy. Like, you went to the end of the earth to get this guy over Florida. I mean, you flew him down there and showed him around and his whole family, extended family. You got to stick by your guy. But I think that's telling that they're not really sticking by him in this instance. They're just like, well, let's try to let's just see how it goes and let it play out. And the one other thing with Kiffin too that is just yet another sign of how full of crap he is or what a liar he is that initially he said, well, if we don't add them, somebody else will, these players, right? Well, these rules from the SEC and Big Ten have essentially made it to where it's like, okay, nobody's going to do it, and he's still trying to go get these players. So it was like everything that comes out of his mouth is just a way to rationalize his childish and immature behavior.
I kind of hope he does it just to see what happens, honestly, and to bring it into where it really affects Tennessee. I mean, the conversation that we had yesterday that's lost in the sands of time now was really about whether, if Sankey didn't do anything, should Tennessee just join in and try to like recruit these guys? Well, the basketball sort of had a version of this. It's not exactly the same, but Jalen Washington, who played in the NBA Summer League, committed to Tennessee and is set to play for Tennessee, or was. Um, but his court case actually just today, let me see exactly what it said. This was just right before we started recording. This got announced. The Tennessee Court of Appeals has issued an order staying the injunction granted to the plaintiff athletes pending appeal in the Jalen Washington versus NCAA case. And to cut through the legalese there, it means that Jalen Washington is ineligible again. As of now, he can't play. Now, maybe by the season, an appeal happens and he gets the eligibility back. We'll see. But this, I mean, completely outside of the Kiffin thing in the SEC, this is all just so. Oh, I'm tired of it, man. I like.
We need some
Like,
rules. I mean, can you
yeah,
imagine if a pro sport that we followed, if the
man.
NFL was anything like this? I mean, the NFL is not perfect by any means, and none of the pro sports leagues are. They all have their areas where they could be better, and none of us are ever going to agree on all of it. But this is chaos compared to anything in the NFL. Can you imagine? I mean, if free agency or anything was like this, I mean, days before the season starts, and you're trying to add players from the NFL to your roster, it's complete madness. I mean, the whole sport we know is madness. I just wish they would somebody would just step up and be the adult because everybody's looking out for what's best for them, their conference, their
Yeah,
school. And that's going to be different for every single school, every athletic director in every conference. Like what works for Tennessee is not going to work for Kentucky or Indiana or whoever. I mean, you're going to have to give and take a little bit here. And I just wish somebody would be the adult and step up and be like, this is what we need to do. It's not perfect for us. It's not going to be perfect for anyone, but the sport will be better because of it. I don't think the sport's in danger of, going away or anything like that. But I do think there are some people growing disinterested in college football. Maybe
yeah.
it's the more casual viewers. It's like I don't even know who's on the team from year to year. Like if you're somebody that just tunes in to watch football in September and aren't watching our shows in March and April and in the thick of the off season, you're not a sicko. You might just tune in and be like, I don't even know who half of these guys are. Like what is this going on here? Like why is that guy playing here now? And like I could see that.
Well, and even outside of the eligibility stuff, that is so tiring, and even for somebody like us who we're obsessed with it, do it as a job, whatever. Like it reaches a certain point where we are just like, come on, and outside of the eligibility talk, everything now, everything is some sort of scheme.
Mm,
Like somebody has an angle. Like I saw announced today, Auburn and Alabama are going to play in Birmingham in October in basketball. They're going to play an exhibition that benefits them both with NIL. The proceeds go to their NIL. And I mean, fine, whatever, I guess. But it's all just like everything's a scheme. And that, them doing that makes you feel stupid when you're Tennessee and we have exhibition games set up that are charity. The proceeds go to charity. Well, why are we doing it for charity when these clowns over here are doing it to make money for themselves and doing it? Everything's
yeah.
a scheme. Like
It makes it
everything.
tough to be like a
Oh
good
my
person
gosh.
in this
It
sport.
does. Then why ever be a good person when you can just be a, a when you can be Lane Kiffin, when you can just be an underhanded, terrible person and win? Because that without the rules, that's what just is perpetually going to happen. You can be Nate Oates, the Lane Kiffin of college basketball, or I guess Will Wade's probably the Lane Kiffin of college
Both,
basketball, but
yeah, both. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
either or. But you can be Nate Oates and get a guy who's played in the NBA and come back and play for you. I mean, it just where does it end? And it's not until somebody steps up and does something. It's not going to end. And I mean, I like finally some backbone from Greg Sankey. That's nice, but it's not. This isn't going to solve this whole deal. Although I think it may solve hopefully this NFL players thing coming back. It also helps that the NFL is
Yeah.
coming out. What exactly? The NFL will
Uh,
inform its teams that any player who returns to the college ranks will be prohibited from signing with NFL teams this season.
yeah, and they don't go back into the
So,
draft pool, so it's not like you can go back to
yeah,
school and improve your draft stock and get drafted highly. So yeah, the NFL is definitely trying to do its part to say, okay. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think they can do much more than that because they have nothing to do with who's eligible
yeah,
and who's not. But that is a pretty big step from them.
yeah. I mean, what else are they gonna do? But it helps. So, it's exhausting and silly, but at least we got to dunk on Lane Kiffin for 10 minutes here.
I feel bad. I mean, I don't hate LSU like I would hate Florida and Alabama and Georgia, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. It's not the same, right? Because they don't really cross over all that much. So, I mean, LSU fans are pretty cool usually, and they right now are just hoodwinked by this guy. Like they have no idea what's coming, and it's he might win a national championship there. I mean, Les Miles won one, and Ed Ogeron, backed into one somehow. Like it's not out. It's not crazy to think that Kiffin could, but it's going to end nightmarishly for them. Like it's going to be it won't be a quiet exit whenever he's done there. And I don't know when that's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but we all know it's going to happen because it's been happening literally for almost 20 years now. Every job he leaves, like you said, it's.
I mean, you got to think at a certain point, like with you mentioning that he maybe NFL jobs come up. I mean, at a certain point, your reputation precedes you. When are NFL teams going to go? I mean, he's good, but no thanks.
That's
Like
why I said it would be like a
we don't want to
bad
deal with
team,
that circus.
like the Browns.
Yes, it would have. Oh,
I mean, he's the one that hired me at Tennessee anyway. So I mean,
yeah,
you know,
Jimmy would probably bring him in.
Yeah.
That's that is true. Yeah,
I
so
mean,
maybe there's one team out there.
Here's the scenario: Todd Monken is a disaster in year one. Arch Manning declares for the draft. Browns have the number 1 pick, and Lane's like, "Yes, I will go to Cleveland to coach Arch Manning after 1 year at LSU." I don't think it's highly likely, but I think it's within the realm of possibility of one of the outcomes that could happen.
It would, if it did happen, we would be like, I mean, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
this is what this guy's gonna do, of course.
I think Arch would pull a Eli Manning at that point and be like, I'm not playing for that team because I don't think the Mannings are very fond of Lane Kiffin.
It's probably not well, I was about to say probably not of the Haslams either, but I guess, I mean, Peyton's in that upper echelon with Tennessee. He probably likes the old Haslams, doesn't he? But I think that's it for this week. Charlie Burris, Zach Ragan. I don't mind a good Lane Kiffin rip session. We should probably have one of these quarterly, I think.
Yes.
Nice and cathartic. If you enjoyed the show, A to Z Sports Tennessee Volunteers is the YouTube channel. Like button, subscribe button, notification bell, hype button. Hit the hype button. It helps us out. Clearly, something's helping us out views wise, and we appreciate it. Probably just the audience watching our videos. But thanks so much for tuning in. And next week, game preview. We're here. This is it. Monday. I mean, we're gonna do it. I guess it'll be game preview, full season preview. We always do a full season preview. So subscribe here, join us for that, and we will do that. And I'll end on this. R.I.P. to the Queen, to Dolly Parton. Still absolutely devastating. So got to give her a shout out on the way out the door. So thanks again for watching. And we will see you all next week.
See you guys later.